Hi, welcome back to Duty's Daggers. The topic today is BladeBinge and why I don't use the site and why I dislike it. Now, before I get into it, the last video I made where I was talking about something I didn't like was about MagnaCut. And there was a couple comments in there saying something along the lines of, if you don't like it, just don't buy any. Problem solved. Yeah, obviously. But the point of the video was to have a discussion about it, where people could jump in and give their points of view and just talk about it. You know, I'm not mad at MagnaCut. I just wanted to talk about it with people, and I think it's a valuable thing, is to have people with different opinions coming together and speaking about them, talking about them. I might change my mind after I read all your comments about BladeBinge. Who knows? So that's what this is. I know I don't like it, so I don't use it, but I want to have a discussion about it with you guys. So I don't use BladeBinge. I prefer to use the Reddit knife swap. That's kind of my main way of buying and selling knives. Sometimes, since I have a fair amount of followers on Instagram, I'll just post knives for sale in there in my stories or posts. And I don't think I've used the Facebook groups to sell. I've bought a few things from Facebook groups. There's a lot of ways to buy and sell knives. I would say the main ones probably are the Reddit knife swap, Facebook groups, Instagram, and I guess BladeBinge. BladeBinge is getting pretty popular. I might have forgotten one, but there's a lot. BladeBinge came about a couple years ago under a different name. I think it was NAF Sale first, and then they might have changed to something else briefly, and then it became BladeBinge. It's basically it's marketed to us as the 100% safe and secure way to buy knives, buy used knives. My first point here is BladeBinge is a solution to a problem that never existed. What they have done is come into the knife market and said, hey, are you tired of getting ripped off? Are you tired of you buy a knife from some random person on the internet and they send you the wrong one, or they don't send it at all? Are you worried about being ripped off, sending your money to somebody and they rip you off? Well, no more. With us, your sale is 100% secure. If you don't get the knife that you were supposed to get, or don't get any knife at all, you get your money back. Getting ripped off when buying a knife, if you do it properly, if you use the Reddit knife swap properly, if you use Facebook groups properly with getting vouchers, you're not going to get ripped off. I have, I think, like 60 sales on the Reddit knife swap, and those are the only ones, and those are only the ones that I have recorded. There's probably at least another 20, maybe 30 that I just didn't bother getting the credit for. Not once have I been ripped off, not a single time. I have a whole video on how to use the Reddit knife swap, and I'll put a link to it down in the description, or maybe up in the corner of the video if I remember. There is a little bit of a learning curve with the Reddit knife swap, but once you learn it, it's really, really good place to do it. How it works is, you see a knife for sale, and you see the user's name, the seller's username there. And next to the user's name is the number of sales that they have so far in the knife swap. If they're pretty new to it, maybe they only have 2 sales so far. If they've been doing it a long time, I've seen them upwards of like 150, If that number is high and they have a lot of transactions, they're safe. Because if someone is ripping people off, the moderators of the subreddit, the knife swap subreddit, are going to ban him. So if they have a lot of previous transactions, they're going to be trustworthy. It's a very good system, and it kind of works similarly for the Facebook groups. If you are buying a knife in a Facebook group, you might ask around for vouches, which is where other people will vouch for the seller, saying, hey, I've bought from this guy before, he's legit. So it's a little bit more of a difficult way of going about it. With the Reddit, it's right there. It has the number of previous transactions right there. But you know, the vouchers on the Facebook groups is definitely a good way too. So the problem of getting ripped off is not really a problem at all. I know it has happened before, but if you're smart and only buy knives from people that you can trust, you're fine. You know, we've been buying and selling used knives forever before BladeBinge came along just recently, a couple of years ago. We've been fine without them. You know, even before the Reddit knife swap and all that was the Blade forums. That was where it kind of all originated. So BladeBinge is coming in and saying that they have the solution to this problem. That's not really a problem. Now, what do they charge for these services of protecting your transaction? They're gonna take 7.5% from the seller. So there's a 7.5% fee for posting your knife for sale. So say I'm posting, what do I have today? A TRM Shadow, and I'm gonna ask $300 for it. 7.5% of that $300 is gonna go to BladeBinge. When I get paid, it's not gonna be the $300. It's gonna be 7.5% less, whatever that is. And that's what they charge for making sure that your transaction is secure. That's pretty high. That's pretty high, especially when you're getting into these high-end knives. That 7.5% becomes even a couple $100, maybe even. You don't need BladeBinge. You don't need to pay this. There's other ways to sell knives where you don't pay anything. Reddit's free. Facebook groups are free. Blade forums are free. BladeBinge is the only place where you have to pay to sell your knife. As a result of this fee, a lot of the times the prices are higher on BladeBinge than anywhere else, because the sellers need to price their knives higher to make up for that 7.5% that they're losing. So this might be $300 is probably a fair price for this, but on BladeBinge I might ask $350 because I need to cover those costs. So a lot of times you'll see pretty high prices on BladeBinge as opposed to other places, other forums. Another reason, and this is kind of why I initially got a bad taste in my mouth from BladeBinge, is their advertisements. Now, there's a few YouTubers out there, knife tubers, that there's one in particular that's kind of the face of BladeBinge. He does a ton of BladeBinge advertisements in his YouTube shorts. Even on their live streams, there's a couple of them now that do this. Even on their live streams, they'll like pause for like 2-3 minutes and just read this spiel about BladeBinge. And I'm sure they're getting paid for it. You know, they're definitely getting paid for it. They'll make, YouTube shorts showing off a knife and then being, yeah, I got this on BladeBinge. And I would just see them everywhere. It seems like I couldn't escape the BladeBinge ads until I unsubscribed from those people that were making the ads. Then I saw less of them. I don't like being, what's the right word? it almost felt like I was being like force fed this product, this BladeBinge site. It was I don't like that feeling. I would rather things be good on their own merit, and word of mouth, spreading, saying, hey, this is a really great place to buy and sell knives, you should use it. I think that is better, at least for me. And let me know what you guys think. Would you rather just like hear from word of mouth that something is excellent, or would you rather see a bunch of ads from them telling you that they're excellent? It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and again, tell me if anyone else feels like this too. It seems like they're just pushing it so hard. And I didn't, it rubbed me the wrong way, basically, is what I'm saying. Paying YouTubers to say good things about them, basically, is what it is. Which I don't really like. So, in conclusion, another thing. When you sell a knife on BladeBinge, you don't get your money right away. So I'm selling this for $300. I list it on the website. I pay, or no, I don't even pay that yet. So it's $300, right? So someone is looking and they see my shadow and they say, oh, I want that. They click buy. The money comes out of their account. It goes to BladeBinge. BladeBinge says, hey, your knife's sold. Why don't you, pack it up? And then once you have packaged it and put the label on it, and once the carrier, USPS or UPS, has the package, then it starts processing your money. It says on the site it could take 4 to 5 days after the carrier has your package to actually get the money in your account. That's annoying, with Knife Swap and everything. It's just bam, it's a guy that's PayPaling you or Venmoing you, and it's there instantly. That's kind of annoying. Some positive things about BladeBinge. I suppose I could see in certain situations, if it's a very expensive knife, and you're worried about, or maybe you can't find a good reliable seller that you trust on the Reddit Knife Swap or on Facebook or Instagram, possibly using BladeBinge in a situation like that so that it's guaranteed that you're not going to lose your money. But again, if you're buying a really expensive knife on BladeBinge, that 7.5% fee is going to be pretty high. So you're going to be paying up for that. You can see that maybe is possibly a scenario. I guess it's pretty easy to buy on there. There's no fee for the buyer. So I guess for the buyer, it's a pretty decent place to buy used knives. Again, the prices are going to be a little higher usually because the seller is trying to compensate for the fees. Aside from that, though, I think it's a pretty decent place to buy used knives. I do have one transaction on BladeBinge, and that was when I bought my Prince Customs Protean. I bought it on BladeBinge because they're hard to find, and there just so happened to be the exact one that I wanted on BladeBinge. So yeah, that was my only transaction. I've never sold anything on there. Or wait, have I? No. No, I don't think I have. Those are the only positives I can think of. There might be more. Let me know in the comments if you guys can think of more. But for me, the negative things here way outweigh the positives. So let me know what you guys think. Is it Is the 7.5% fee worth it? Let me know. And again, if you want to start using the Reddit knife swap, watch my video on, it goes through step by step how to list a knife for sale on the Reddit knife swap. I think it's my favorite place to buy and sell knives. It's very active. The prices are fair usually on there too. It's awesome. It's a free market. And I think that's the main thing that I don't like about BladeBinge is we were doing fine before BladeBinge. We've been buying and selling knives forever. And here they come saying, oh, there's a big problem. People are getting ripped off. Making it, kind of blowing it up, making it seem worse than it really is, to get you to want to use their site and make you feel like that 7.5% fee is worth it. They just popped in with a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. And again, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe some of you will have a really good point that will kind of change my mind. Who knows? But that's it. Thanks for watching. Like the video before you leave, please. And I'll see you next time.